Oh, hey everybody! Welcome to Marvel's Inc. Podcast. Covered in dog hair. I got an old. Hey, this is Carlos Robles, half owner, part owner of Mortals Inc. I'm here to talk with Nate Elwood again to review another game. This is we usually do side games or small press games, but we're gonna take a bite out of this big old book of Pathfinder, second edition. But yeah, it's quite a book. I think it came out. When did it come out? 2 weeks ago? 1 week ago? A couple weeks ago?
When Gen Con was around. So yeah, about
a couple
about 2
weeks
weeks
ago. So that was well. Now that you have the right book to read,
right. Well, they did do the play test before this. I think it was last year they came out with the play test as the grand, like, we want to do this. Let's see what everybody thinks here. Buy this book and see what.
Give me money.
Right, and we'll get into that after you do your announcement.
All right, but anyway, that's what we're going to talk about today. But I want to go over a couple of things. What do we got new coming this week? Let's see. Today's Saturday.
It's today's Sunday.
Sunday the 1st of September.
Yeah.
So
Labor Day tomorrow.
Yesterday, oh yeah, still working though. No, yesterday the Kill Team box set came out with Space Wolves and Tau. Pretty big, meaty box set. It's got terrain and everything.
It's got a lot of terrain in it.
Yeah, I think it's like the other one they did, but they just redid it with two different armies. So that shit's pretty good.
Yeah, honestly, like, if people want to do a halvesies thing, which a lot of people do, like, I want this side of the army, I want this side of the army, whatever. Mm-hmm. It's worth the money. I'll put it that way. If you buy all that stuff individually, you'd be spending well over, I think it's $160
for one army.
No, for the box set.
Army.
If you were to buy everything individually, you'd probably be spending.
I think the rule book comes in there, right?
Right.
The core rule book. So
I think it'd be like almost double. So, I mean, value wise, it is awesome.
They're
awesome.
GW. That's why they limit them, because it is a lot of value.
Yeah.
If you're going to buy it,
Yeah.
I mean, you're saving money, but I mean.
And they know their customer base too. They know there's a guy out there who's like, I'm going to buy 6 of them.
I know.
Just cause.
It's like, or they'll be here, and then all of a sudden they run out, and then that's when everybody comes looking. So either way, if you buy it here, it's always retail with some discounts if you get them. But I saw that next week they're coming out with like the planes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's a lot of stuff. Actually, can I start advertising that? Yeah, I can start advertising that. So Aeronautics Auto. I'm killing the name.
Aeronautica.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Imperialis Aeronautica.
I'll put an ad up this week. But if you want to pre-order anything, do it, because there's a lot of stuff. So I'm not gonna go.
I think it's kind of like GW's competition with X-wing, pretty much.
It's a smaller scale, right?
It's a smaller scale. It's basically planes. I think that what comes in the box that's going to be Orc planes and,
of course,
Imperium planes.
Oh,
and I'm sure if it takes off, they'll add more factions.
It's smaller scale. You can't use it with like normal 40K.
No.
It's a game of its own.
Yeah, it's kind of like Titanicus.
Oh, can you use it with Titanicus?
You know what? I don't know if the scales. That's a good question. I'll have to check that out. See if those scales. That would be kind of neat. If the scales matched up to it.
That would actually be a game where you could work that with the. It would be
That would be fun.
Yeah,
that'd be a neat idea.
The new
trademark.
Yeah. The new Vanguard also came out this weekend. My Speed Legion. I don't know. Those guys confuse me. It comes out those guys are. There's nothing wrong with them. They're all over that. And
people like collectible competitive card games. Yeah, all power to you. It's just It's not my. I'm trying my cup of tea.
I'm trying to get them to do like a stream, but they are rough. The language. They're young and adolescents, and they're like, I'm like, listen. Hey, a swear word here, family friendly. I'm trying to market this to everybody, not just your little niche group of, going to talk bad about everybody here. They're funny. They're nice kids. It's just, man, get it under
one
control.
Too many F-bombs for.
The F-bombs I could deal with. It's the subject matter that sometimes they come up with.
Gotcha.
But they're funny. Then we have to yell at them. No, they're fine. Anyway, that new stuff came out. The new booster came out. I think it's My Steed Legionnaire or something like that, which I should probably write down.
When does Vanguard play up here?
Every Monday.
Every Monday.
Monday, and they show up on Fridays now.
Okay.
So if you want to get into the game, we have our own. There's a Facebook group too. I think it's Bushi Road. It makes it. So I think it's Immortals Inc. Vanguard and more. So just search that, and we'll pop right up and get in there. It's a private, but it's public. So if you want to join it, it's cool. We just, like any group, we just want to make sure nobody's in there just screwing off or being a pain. Commander 2019 came out last weekend, and last Friday, and we've gone through a couple of orders of it. It's some good stuff in those. $42.99 is what we're selling it for, which I think is competitive retail.
It seems like it has a pretty good following.
Yeah, people come in, they buy it, and Commander's like the thing now for Magic. That's what everybody likes. I think it's a good.
I mean, it's hard not to find a Magic game. You can go anywhere and find a Magic game, pretty much. But it seems like there's so many different types.
Well, Commander's
of Magic.
multiplayer. You don't just need 2 players. You can play 4 or 5. What's the most you can do with Commander? 5, 3 to 5. Anything more than that, just if you got nothing to do for like a day. I got the Vampire supplement books came in for the RPG, which we keep selling out of. I don't know why. The core books,
game.
Yeah. I mean, I know why, but I mean, it is a good game. But the core, we got the Camarilla, which is the fancy pants ones, right?
Traditional.
The traditional fancy pants.
The traditional.
And the Anarch, which
is different than from the second. It's for the new edition, so it's a little different than before. But the Anarchs are
opposite fancy pants. Yeah, outside fancy pants.
And outside the Sabbath.
Yeah. We also got the miniatures for Whiz Kids. We got the walking statue.
You really can't call that a miniature. I mean, it's 2 feet tall. It's awesome looking.
Did you see that picture we put online of my wife and Shalee? They were standing between them. There's 4 of them, and they're like 1/4 scale Diana and Shalee's size, because the 4 of them stacked up are taller than they were. Yeah, it's on there. It's pretty funny.
They are some big miniatures. They look cool though.
Walking statues of Waterdeep. We also have the Kraken. We have a restock of the Kraken.
That looks cool too.
The Waterdeep statue is painted. It's pre-painted.
Mm-hmm.
The Kraken is not. And then we just this weekend or last Wednesday, they released the Descent into Avernus miniature line, which we did a box break on it, and you can see a bunch of their miniatures on there. A lot of the singles are for sale still.
Are those the pre-painted ones?
Yeah, the pre-painted ones. They were really nicely painted this time around. I mean, they were before, but you could tell they're getting better at whatever they're doing. So however they're doing it, because that's coming out December. I want to say 18th. You might be right, 17th, but I think it's the 18th. September 17th, 18th. I think it's that Friday, or whatever that Friday is. But that's coming out. It's going to be a 1st through 13th level adventure, and set in hell. Are you going to hell? Are you fighting hell? There's something to do with hell. There's a bunch of demons.
How do you put a 1st level character through that?
Listen, carefully.
You know, to be honest, the starter set, even the, I think it takes them 1 through 5. The Alan Hander's Mines or something like that it's called. I mean, I'm like, this is pretty good. You know, like pleasantly surprised with the writing that's coming out of D&D 5th edition right now.
I think they're very selective about it. It's very good. Yeah. So I haven't really read anything that was
terrible.
They
got bit with their open license. They still have somewhat of an open license, but they got bit before.
You can use it, but you got to meet our approval, which is fine with me. Because before there was so
quality control,
so much garbage. It just can't. I mean, not everything was garbage, but I hate to say garbage because that was somebody's work, but sometimes that work's not as good as somebody else's, and then
like it might have been great for your homebrew campaign, but not everybody wants to play your homebrew campaign.
And then it's for a retailer, it's bad because
you bring it in.
I don't know what I'm buying, you know, and then I can't legitimately sell something. If I look at it and go, ooh, that is not as good as I thought it was going to be. I can't stand there and tell you, oh yeah, it's great. You know, I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to let anybody do it here. The last thing we got good, if you got a wedding or a prom or some special event coming up, we got the Die Hard dice in, which are
phenomenally awesome.
They're metal dice. They're colored. They got anything from like rainbow hues all the way up to brushed steel and gold. But
I picked up a set just because they're
nice.
Cool,
they're heavy. They're solid. They're
feels like you're picking up jewelry, but they're awesome.
They're random and they're pretty nice. But the price ranges from $44 to $55 on some of these. And there was some more, but I didn't get those. No, there wasn't. But the sets run, and you get the standard polyhedral set, and there's even some D10 sets out there. Mm. But I also got there's a line of the D20s that are single, so you can just buy the D20 metal. But they're all metal, but they're nice.
You also got a hit location dice.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about those. Yeah, hit location is 12-sided dice. You roll it in head, neck, groin, whatever you want to get hit, whatever it tells you. But those are good for like any game, not just D&D. Yeah. So that's about it for my spiel on what we got going on. I'm going to throw this to the side. I'm going to look at Josh. What are you looking at? So then I got Nate. Go ahead with the Pathfinder 2nd edition.
All right. So this is a over 600 over 640 pages. There's a lot, whole lot.
You could beat somebody with that book.
You could beat somebody to death with this. It is.
Josh, come here.
Just the book itself. It's it's hardcover. It's been open and closed it a whole lot. Going to pages. It's the spine's holding up real well. So I mean, it's well constructed off of that. Artwork inside. I think the guy's name is Wayne Reynolds, who does most of the.
Yes.
It's his typical style, and it's good. It's not like artwork on every page, but there's enough in there to give a good feel and a good atmosphere to the game. So it's a pretty book. I mean, put it that way. The layout, I love. I wish more RPGs would do the layout like they did. Very concise. It goes easy to navigate, very easy to get from A to B from whatever part of the book you're trying to get from, especially during character creation. It goes in a very logical progression. Tabs on the side. They don't have like a ribbon in here or like finger tabs or something, but they do have it printed so that you can tell exactly which chapter you need. I like that little feature. So yeah, the book itself, solid book. The game itself, though, is a monster of a game. Now, I don't know if people out there, if they remember when Pathfinder first came out, because you can't really talk about Pathfinder without talking about Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
you just can't.
That's when if 4th edition, 3.5 from
Right.
D&D, which was like a huge world, and you can do anything you wanted, and it had a lot of rules.
Yes.
So Wizards came out and said, all right, we're going to do 4th edition, and they really simplified it and made it totally different from 3rd.
Right.
They did nothing came together and worked at all. So then a lot of people got upset that were classic 3rd edition D&D players,
Correct.
Pathfinders, because this was under that open license.
Right.
So Pathfinder kind of stepped up and took the spot of 3.5, so it blew up.
So some people refer to it as like D&D 3.75 or
Yeah.
or what have you. I mean, it for what it did at that time, it was good, but that was 10 years ago. So this has been around for a decade now.
Oh, so that's just 10 years. Okay.
And so
I think they were like riding the coattails of what was popular at 3.5.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
and they
I'm not going to say riding because they did a lot of work.
right.
So
They had their unique world. There was a lot of uniqueness that they put into their product, and it's shown through it. Like anything, good stuff will always rise, and this one rose. But after a while, you got into what a lot of people call like Math Hammer. That hasn't gone away, or Math Finder, excuse me. That hasn't gone away yet. Like there's a lot of it's simple math. There's just a whole lot of it.
Number crunching.
Lots of number, but it's hard to like
There's the
articulate
pause.
because I have like 4 or 5 pages worth of notes here because I mean like I said it's a monster of a book.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just kind of break it down, do a little overview of each chapter. So the first chapter is your introduction, your typical RPG introduction. It's actually really well done. I wish that more games would do a good introduction for newbies, like not just this is what a role playing game is. They not only take this is what a role playing game is, but they apply it to their game in general, and they give you all of the the keywords that are going to be really important in difficulty class and abilities and all. They kind of point them out, so it's like this is what you're getting into. This is kind of the most basic of the game. They also outline what a lot of people are coining like the action economy. So, unlike in previous edition or a previous edition, but each character will now have character, NPC, adversary, whatever. You get 3 actions per round. Everything in here is based off anything that you do that's not part of like exploration or downtime. If it's in combat or in a situation, everything will break down into action. So you have some things that are free actions, but you need to have a trigger to happen. Stuff that's reaction, but you also need a trigger. But everything else, spend one of your action slots to do it. And some activities will take more than just one action slot to do. So that is kind of like a really good premise of how the game is going to crunch down, right? So I like that aspect. They made it very simple to, okay, everybody can do these three things. You don't have like in the old edition where you had some people that were getting 16 attacks off before anybody else can move and stuff. this is all okay. You can do this. You can do this. You can do. That being said, there are so many different combinations that you can come up with based off of your race, based off of heritage, based off your class, based off of equipment, all of these things. There is a lot of rules to it. So it can get very, very in depth. But at the same time, you can make it as simple as you want. So it's good in that regard. Like,
so you're given 3 actions.
right.
And then you just do 3 actions, but then there's a plethora of actions that you can choose from based on
activities and actions based off of everything that you do.
This is for like a combat round, right?
A combat round, a social situation, anything. There's 3 types of phases to the game. You have your basically your encounter phase where stuff is happening, either combat or whatever. Then you have your exploration phase where you're still actively doing stuff, so time will the time in between fighting stuff. And then you have your downtime where I shouldn't say nothing's going on, but you're in between. They break it all down like that. And they go into a lot of good description of how to do that.
Oh, and that relates to what the other character's doing.
Right.
So if you have one guy that's always like, well, I want to do this, 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 and this. Okay,
right.
Fine. You give me 3 things, then we're going to move on to the next and let everybody else catch. Got it. But is it okay? The 3 actions, just to quickly go through it. Like in D&D, the 5th edition, you can
move, fight.
One other. No, you move or fight.
Yeah, you get 2 actions.
And then you get a reaction. Or
you can move, or you can attack and move, or there's some things that allow you to attack.
There's no like set. You don't have to move with those 3 actions.
No, you choose what you're going to do with these actions, and each thing.
So you can make 3 attacks, 3 moves.
I mean, the character sheet alone for this is 4 pages. That's a typical character sheet. Like, I went through making a character.
So advanced players here. No, I mean,
it's set up so that I think anybody could play it. Once they get their brains wrapped around how it works, I think anybody can play it.
The detail-oriented player.
But if you got people who are more experienced, have played PF1, or have played D&D or something like that, I think they'll catch on to it a lot quicker.
Yeah, it sounds like.
But this is not a advanced only. This is definitely newbies can pick this book up.
Okay, all right, that's what I wanted to.
You have your very typical races and stuff with this. You have dwarf, elf, halfling, humans, goblins, and then you have aspects where you can make your human a half elf or a half orc. And then you have the character classes. You have alchemists, which are barbarians, bards, champions, or paladins. I don't know why they don't call them paladins. They just be a little different. Clerics, bards, druids, fighter, monk, wizards, rogues, sorcerers, rangers. So, I mean, it's just like D&D. Everybody. Pathfinder's always going to get compared to D&D. There's no way around it.
Well, so it was born from it.
Right. I mean, you have the same. You have same attributes. You have strength, wisdom, dexterity, constitution. So when you're making a character through this, and it really does focus on the character. That's the very first chapters. It goes through how to make a character, and you go through. Okay, well, what kind of heritage do you want? Because of that heritage, you get to choose different aspects that you can put into it. So not every dwarf is going to be the same. Every elf is going to be. You have your same atypical tropes, but you can make yourselves different. So you can have 2 elves, 2 bards even, that will be slightly different. Well, I shouldn't say slightly, but maybe even extremely different than each other. With the amount of tools that you have in here, make very, very...
So each step of character creation gives you more options.
Right.
Those options then give you more options.
Right.
Okay.
Each class has different options. From each race has different options. Each background that you come up with.
So you can really fine-tune this thing.
Yeah, you can customize your character. I like that a lot. I always liked...
There's a lot of people like... That's a complaint I've had from 5th edition is you can't
the randomness,
customize.
Right.
Yeah, you can't customize it enough.
But they give a lot more options than they used to in D&D.
Yeah.
So
I can see... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
It's a whole other discussion, but yeah, go ahead with your...
Then you get to skills. Skills are, again, class. All the different... Even some of the background stuff that you have will have associated skills with it. It is a monster of amounts of choices. A monster of amounts.
Well, the book is.
I mean, it's a huge book. Yeah,
pretty thick.
In that regard, I really, really love what they did with that. I think being able to make a character exactly the type of character that you want to make within these rules is great. It gives you tons and tons of options. I think it would be tougher for a DM though, because you have to kind of keep track of how many. It's like a player only has to really know what the player does, but a DM has to figure out how is all this going to interact with my story. How am I going to make stuff interact with the players?
Detail. I've noticed that, like, not to pull you up, but detail-oriented players and GMs don't mind Pathfinder.
No,
because they're really into the details. Like me, I am not a detail guy, so I prefer 5th edition because it's all right there for you. But
well, skills even have like sets to them. You can, well, I shouldn't say sets, but levels to them. You start to level up in your skills. You go from untrained to trained to expert to master,
see,
legendary.
You got it. I
And
mean,
each of these give you
that's cool as a
pluses.
player.
Right.
That's cool as a player. Then you can really customize it.
I mean, in essence, the rules, you roll a d20, you add your ability modifiers to it, you add your skill modifiers to it, you add your feat modifiers to it, you add sometimes equipment modifiers to it, subtract negative modifiers from the other side. That's your difficulty. That's what you're trying to beat on a 20-sided die. Very simple idea, but like I said, there is a lot of simple math that have to do to get to that difficulty, you know? And it's easy. It's, like I always loved All Flesh Must Be Eaten in the Eden Studios. Okay, you roll a d10, you add this number and this number together. If you get over a 9, yay, you succeed. I love that simplicity. Now, you can't do what they do in Pathfinder and in system.
No, that's custom. Like if you really
Right.
want to make your characters customized, Pathfinder
and have
always-
rules for them. I should specify that, because there's a lot of games where you can really make a special character, but there isn't any rules associated with it. You just say it's just what we call fluff or just,
I think like 3.5 D&D 3.5 that grew where you customize everything like that, and I think it grew out of control and they couldn't control it, so that's why they went back. I think Pathfinder's the ones who embraced that and took it. How long does a character creation take? Okay.
All right. So I
did
read.
your wife make a character?
No. I read the first. See here. First 7 chapters is basically character creation. I mean, you have.
Wait,
your
7
backgrounds. You have your introduction, your backgrounds, and ancestries, your classes, your skills. That's 1 through 4. 5 is feats. 6 is equipment. 7 is magic and how that all works. And then a ton of spells. I mean, a ton of spells. And then you get to chapter 8, and that gets to the world. So
7 chapters for character building.
over half the book is character creation. Or let's just say character creation, because, I mean, obviously NPCs will have the same types of stuff too. But
I'd say more of a build than a creation.
right. But for me to actually build a character, I think, like personally, I'm like goblins. Be a goblin alchemist. I mean, it's a trope in here. They even have it on the very back. But it is a fantastic idea. All right, I'll try that. I think it was 3.5 hours of me.
See, that's the game.
Going through.
This is the game for the guys who like to.
Yeah.
To
and
build.
I wasn't. I enjoyed
Guys or
doing it. I
girls?
wouldn't say I did not enjoy doing
Was
it.
it fun doing it?
I did. I
Okay.
liked adding. Like came up with a concept, and then I could figure out how, okay, this makes sense with this and this makes sense with that, and go. And it was nice, like I said, for this book being laid out the way it was awesome for me to be able to do that. But there's a lot of combinations that you can come up with too as you're going through creating. Like, oh, this feat would work well with this feat. This feat would work well with that. So it's definitely, like I said, a detail oriented person would really. But that's 480 pages of the book.
Go on. Next page.
The next after that, you get to the GM part of the book, and that's going to have the world that you're in, the age that it's in now, because obviously it's a new edition. You have to have something changed. Then you get to chapter 9, which is playing the game, which is the actual rules of the game. How do you do encounters? How do you do NPCs? How do you do this? How do you do that? How does magic work? Well, they give you an overview on magic, but they really hone in on this is just the rules of the game. That's the entire chapter 9. And so it doesn't get rid of the Pathfinder, but at least, in my opinion, it's more clear cut. because there isn't any supplements yet. Some of the supplements for PF1 changed a lot of stuff too.
Okay.
So then you get to chapter 10, which is specifically the game map. They put a neat little disclaimer in. I find that I haven't seen it in a role playing book. Well, I did see it. You see a small snippet of them in every role playing book. Like, this isn't real. These things don't exist.
Okay.
You know, that type of. But this one, they go even further. They talk about, you know, setting boundaries in a group. You have like, what are off limits? What can we not talk about? What subject matter is gone? You know, and that way nobody feels uncomfortable at the table. They even say you can put out a card on the table. If anybody touches the X card and pushes it forward, whatever you're talking about, you stop talking about, rewind, and make it different, because that is something that's too far for bridge too far for them. So that was kind of interesting, but I mean, that's kind of the culture we're in right now.
Well,
so
I think the card would just be somebody else calling somebody else out. Saying me, like, if somebody went too far, hey, that's enough of that. You know, that's, it should
if
be.
somebody starts talking about rape or incest or something, because let's face it, right? You have to know the group that you're in, but there are times where that would make
That's a whole nother thing. I'll go
you
on,
have to know the maturity of the group. You have to know the people, and this, like, I see why they put it in as like a disclaimer, because I guess there was in a couple of cons there were people that did some pretty horrible things.
Pathfinder. I don't
think it was with Pathfinder, but I think it was with a different game, and I think this is just like, we're going to cover
covering
this.
it. Yeah, I think it's Vampire.
When
Vampire came out, and they went after it. And
so
I get it.
Yeah, I like I said, I totally get it too, and I'm kind of glad that they put it into the rule book, where they're like, look, a lot of people, this is a touchy thing for them here, so we'll make this as generic as possible. You can implement this, and nobody's uncomfortable with it.
Yeah, I guess. But I don't think you should be learning your social interaction skills.
I don't either. But I see why.
I understand why they put it in there.
Right.
But I mean, if you're reading that and that's something new to you, you should possibly, I don't know, broaden your horizons or something. But that's just me.
But apart from that very introduction of the GM stuff, they give really good guidelines on how to be a GM. I was like, even an experienced GM, they gave really good guidelines, and they had a great way to build encounters. And I wish more games would do this, where they're like, you're going to build an experience point budget. So every encounter you have, you're saying, like, this adventure, I want X amount of experience points for the characters at the end of it. But I need to break that up into encounters. So I'm going to have, you know, this encounter, which isn't going to be too terrible for them. This one's going to be tougher. This one might be really hard. This one's not going to be. But each one will have an experience. I adored that. Honestly,
that's a good idea.
I'm so sick of being like, what do I throw at people? Like, it's like, all right, so you go by a challenge rating. Well, that doesn't really show. Like, that's just an average of like, oh, well, this thing's a category challenge rating 5 monster.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how many of those should I put against my PCs that are, you know, level 6 or 7 or 8? Or like, this, I think, would make encounters much more easy, for one, to build, and two, to be an actual challenge. They won't just breeze through everything or get completely annihilated where you have to fudge dice so everybody's not mad.
So this is like a book with like real good GM tips?
Yes.
Okay.
Very good GM.
Probably because I'm going to guess that these guys,
they know what they're doing.
There's probably a lot of old school.
Yeah.
A lot of old schoolers in there. Because like a lot of guys, a lot of kids now, they don't have no idea what 3.5 is.
No.
They play D&D for the first time, it's 5.0. And the concept of that, you know, this Pathfinder world is right over their heads.
If you talk to a kid now about what THACO was, they look at you blankly for a while. But
don't you know the THACO? No.
So the GM section is good. Then you get to the next chapter, which is like all the treasure and crafting, like, because you can make your own items in this. So they have all the rules for how to craft stuff, all the rules for how the treasure, a ton of different types of treasure and artifacts and magical items. So, I mean, you get a ton out of this book. And like I said, I didn't want to go through every aspect of it. I have a ton of notes, but
I was curious about the character build, because I know characters were like over the top in this.
And you can still make over the top characters. You will find
it just sounds like they're going to be over the top no matter what you
will find your person that knows how to min and max.
Mm-hmm.
But what I like about it again is make that custom character that has rules to back it up. It's not just flavor,
like
it's actual rules.
With other games, you go, oh, I got all this flavor to it,
right?
But in this game, you can actually make.
But at the same time, I love, like, Savage Worlds does a great job of that. Like, they're like, in essence, every wizard's a wizard. You want to be a different? We'll give it I forget the exact name. I think a token or something like that, where it's like, you know, a frost wizard. instead of doing this type of thing, he'll do this type of thing. But it's the same rule. Like this.
You don't change the rules. You just change
This
the
one,
background.
this one really divides it and separates it and categorizes
changes the
it.
rules. Yeah.
Right. And they do a good job of it. I'm not going to say that they don't. They do a very good job of it. It's very this entire book is clean. It's concise. It reads well. You can go through it and understand the game. It's a lot of reading. I'm not going to lie. This is a lot. This might have been the first rule book that you've given me that I didn't read every single because once I got to like level 4 spell, I'm like, you know what? I'm sure the higher levels just do more stuff. Yeah, you know.
That's more.
Well, I kind of flipped through some of the higher level spells just to see what they do. But I mean,
no,
normally I read a
expect you to
rule
read
book
every
cover to cover.
spell,
This
yeah.
one was.
Hey, you got it a little
lot of
late
stuff.
too. I mean,
Right.
like you said, we gave you the wrong book and you read half of it first. But hey, that's okay.
But overall, it's a good game. If you liked PF1, Pathfinder 1, you'll still like this game. The problem that I see, this is what I personally see, there was nothing in this book other than like some GM stuff, but system-wise, that really jumped out as like, wow, I really want this. To me, this feels like, and I hate to say it, but this feels like 5th edition D&D, but with just a little bit different flavor to it. Maybe polished up a little, but even from Pathfinder 1, I don't see people who played Pathfinder 1 who already, let's admit it, they've spent a lot of money on Pathfinder, maybe even thousands of dollars on supplements and everything.
A lot.
I don't see them being like, man, because it's a different system.
Is it a completely different system in the first one?
I mean, it's different enough.
Oh, okay.
Different enough.
So you can't just.
It's not an easy conversion, I'm sure.
Oh,
You'd have to be going through everything. And a lot of people like pre-made adventures, all that stuff. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's a good game. If this is the first time you pick it up, it's worth. It's definitely.
Is this for the new player? Is this for a new player, or is this for the guys that have already played it?
This I think will fit a niche. If it's for a new player, it'll be someone who really likes highly detailed stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have a casual game, like it's hard to be like, hey, let's create characters. All right, how long will that take? Well, nobody knows the rules. It takes 6 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't just like pick it off the shelf.
It's a commitment.
And if you know the system already, you can expedite that kind of stuff. But for new players, it's definitely somebody like, this is the game we want to play. Let's play this game. And then
they might
commit to
move up to this game from another game. Like
Right.
not enough to, like if they play Savage World and they're like, oh, I like the flavor, but I want something to do.
And that's where I said with the downfall. There's like most people won't start with this game. Like I don't see them really starting with this game. Most people start with 5th edition, and then if they pick up this game, there's nothing in it. Unfortunately, maybe they'll put out an amazing supplement or tailor-made adventure or something that will be a wow factor. But at the moment, it's a good game. It's really good. It's well worth the money for people who want to play it. But it's not. I got to get this game.
Okay, so maybe give it a minute to see what the supplements do.
Yeah, I mean, what's awesome about it is,
if you're going to get it. But if
for $60, you're getting a DMG and a player's handbook.
Yeah. Is there monsters in there?
No, that's actually a separate.
That would be the monster.
They have
compendium
they have a
or whatever they
bestiary.
have out there.
Yeah, they have a bestiary.
Duh.
Which, what's cool about this is this takes this from beginning characters all the way through excessively experienced characters. So I mean, it's not like you have to be like, oh, this is just a starter set. It goes through level 5. This will take you a complete game of years of campaigning. So it's a good game. Like I said, it's a good game.
No, it's been 10 years since a redo, right. So I don't.
And they needed it. They needed it.
That's an acceptable amount.
I think PF1 players will pick it up just because they're PF players.
You think it'll? You don't think it? Will it? D&D. Will it
compete with D&D like it did before? It has potential. I'll give it that. They really need I'm going to mispronounce the name of it. So Piazzo, right? How you pronounce it?
Paizo.
All right. Well, if I'm wrong, somebody put a comment in. Just give me the phonetics. But I think if they come up with something to really distinguish themselves, like this is great for the rules. But to me, it gives the small chapter about the world that it's in and the new age that it's in is good. If they come out with something that really can set this apart, I think that it could be like it was before, where it will compete with 5th edition. But just off the rules itself, just off of that, it doesn't have that, whoa, I really like, it's so similar to D&D already.
because that's what cracks me up about it. It's like it was literally born from D&D.
Yes.
That is D&D 3rd edition. I mean, I don't know about this one, but the other one,
Right.
it was just 3rd edition D&D. They just picked the ball up and run.
And it was kind of like they took their homemade ideas and here, we'll give it rules that work. So, but what they did right though, I really think what they did right was they had their play test beforehand, which was the first book that I was reading.
First book you read.
And they set that out a year before, and they're like, here, everybody, here's the rules. Here's a campaign online that's for free. Here's everything. Start playing and come back to us. Tell us what you like.
Yeah, that
tell
was
us
a
what
good
you don't.
idea.
Give us in depth. Don't just be like, this thing sucks. Like, tell us why.
Yeah, give us a real review.
So they really listened to it. I think that is awesome for any company to be like, what is our people like? You know, what don't they like? Well, let's keep this. Let's omit that. But it's a good book. It's a good game. It really is.
Yeah, I only got a few things in, and you were going to review it. So there's a lot of buzz for it. So if they want it, they want it. But I honestly only got a few things in, and I didn't think it was going to sell because nobody really talked about it here. But then when you came to pick it up, it was gone.
Yeah.
So I think it will, and I'll keep it in stock. But let me see how the supplements go because let's see. We'll give
like I
it a
said,
minute.
and this is just my opinion. This is Nate's 2 cents. I mean, and who really cares on the great
If you say it's a good
things.
if you say it's a good book,
system wise, it's good.
Yeah, if it's a good
very,
system,
like
we
just spent the whole time talking about what the nuances of it. System wise, it's good.
I want to see if you say that maybe the supplements will bring it up. We'll see.
I
supplements adventures.
For me personally, I want to
see
see something wow. I want to see something where they're like this, because honestly, even the world they have in here, it's a fantasy world. There's nothing that really sets it apart from, like, I remember like with Eberron when that first came out for D&D.
Okay.
That was such such a good concept. It was such a good idea that
something different.
Right. Yeah. I think Pathfinder needs to do something similar to that. To really be like, wow, I want to get this game. It's not just the game. I want this setting with it. You know what I mean? Or this supplement with it, or they come out with something
maybe they got something.
I'm sure they got something. They got smart people working on it. I mean, this is a good. Like I said, it's a good game. I'd give it probably a 6 out of 10. I mean, system wise up in the 8s, but just if you're a new player and you want to buy a new game,
it's system heavy.
It's very system heavy, but there's nothing in it that's not just another generic RPG fantasy setting. Of course, they have a couple, goblins are a nice little nuance to it. The alchemist class is really cool. And I mean, it has cool stuff, but nothing in it that I'm just like, man, I really want this game over the D&D 5th edition that has so much to it and so many people playing.
Yeah. They got to build their following back up, I think.
Yeah.
What's that thing retail for in the back there?
I think it's $60. $59.99.
$60. That's not bad for a size of that book.
Well,
that's going to be
it's
your price.
It's a DMG. It's a Game Master's Guide and all the core rules and a player's handbook. So normally that's 2 books. Like with most games, that's 2 books or a lot of games. So it's cheaper than buying 2 $50 books right off the rip. I think the Bestiary, it's only $50. So I mean, for $110, you got a complete game with everything.
That's about the standard.
Yeah,
that's a D&D. Yeah, D&D one's $50.
Yeah, for the 3 books.
Yeah. All right, well, let's see how that goes. Let's get some supplements and we'll do something else.
And if anybody out there has played Pathfinder, because I haven't played yet. Like I said, I went through character creation. I created, played around with the stat lines and stuff. But if anybody out there has played, maybe did I miss something that wasn't a wow to me, but is something really good that comes out on the table? You know
what I've always been looking for? They used to have them here and they went, they moved or whatever. Pathfinder Society. I don't know if they still do that.
I'd have to check online. I haven't.
They do. We wouldn't mind hosting that. We got space for that. We got a night we can do for that. So
it's good. And it's good space.
Anybody from Pathfinder Society who wants to get in our store, come on, this is your chance. Yeah. It's an open door right now. Rush in.
If somebody comes, if somebody from PF Society comes and they're like, we want to do a demo game, I will sit down because I want to. Maybe, like I said, because you read something, but then when you play it on the table, maybe something will come out.
Yeah, maybe you'll be like, "Oh my god, this is a great game!"
This is awesome. So.
Sometimes it gets lost in translation there. All right, then. Well, that's good for us for today. Next time we'll do. I don't know. I want to try and read something. I think I told you I want to try and read the
zombie game, right?
Yeah, Outbreak Undead, because I find that fascinating. So I'll give that a try. If I fail, you'll have plan B. So we'll think of something, but let me see what we got going on. And we'll let Nate ask me questions as I fumble through this. Anything else you can think of?
Come on down to the store. I mean,
Yeah, come on.
Friday night, we're doing Kill Team
Kill
and
Team,
40K and
all that nonsense.
Monday nights, you guys got something going every night. Every night, you guys. There's always tables here. Wednesdays is always full.
Board games are starting to got a little board game. Greek Geek. I'm gonna kill it, and he's gonna kill me. Geekcraft, no. Geekcraft.
What days do they come in? Mondays.
And his name is Ken. God, my name's sorry, Ken. He comes in, he plays some board games, he teaches them. He's got a whole bunch of them and got a whole lot of ideas. So we're working with him right now. So figure it out. But if you want board games, come on in. That's still discount Monday night for Diana.
And
which I hate.
We live in Northeast Ohio, so weather's gonna get cold.
Yeah, it's September 1st.
So it's always warm down in the.
Should be getting ready for the snow here.
It's always warm down in this basement dungeon. So yeah,
it's warm or cool down here, except when the power goes out. I gotta go talk to the landlord. No. All right, guys, give us a call. It's 216-712-7169. Go to our website, immortalsinc.com. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. What do you even do on Instagram?
Snail mail, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, mail us something. Oh my God, we should.
And as before, if there's a game that you want, an RPG that you want Carlos and I to hash out or talk about, put it in the description.
Yeah, give it in.
Drop
give
us
me
a line.
Give me a reason to open up something we don't need. So, all right, guys. We should do something about play by mail. Remember play by mail?
Oh man, I don't think you can.
I'm gonna start.
I don't think people have enough
patience
to
one
do
here.
it.
I'm gonna start one here. We're gonna.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right, guys. See you later. Liquid Death. It's good. Bye.